So as you can see, if you've seen my videos before, trying to work out a different kind of backdrop, putting some plants in here. I've got some hanging plants as well, so we'll see what you guys enjoy about that. But with this video today, I wanted to talk about the post that I actually did yesterday. And the post that I did yesterday was to do with explaining how I'm tired with the narrative, with what has been happening, with what has been going on planet Earth. And obviously a few people I think took that as, I'm exhausted and, don't worry about me. I always take the time when I need it and I have a break when I need it. So love and oneness to you all. I appreciate you for that. But the main point of that post was to highlight the fact that the collective consciousness of our planet is getting tired. All right, it's not getting tired in a physical or a mental way, it's getting tired in a conceptual way, because we are tired of the narrative that has been playing through this planet for such a long time now. All right, and that the question then arises is, what is that narrative? What is it that I'm talking about? That narrative is the narrative of fear and obeying. Okay, that narrative is one of fear and of obeying. Because if you look back across all of the systems of control, the narrative has been, if you don't follow this, you'll burn in hell. If you don't follow this, you will get incarcerated or locked up in jail. If you don't follow this, you'll never be successful. If you don't follow this, you'll never have what it is you want. If you don't follow this, you'll never do. And it's always a this and this and this, and it's always a you don't choose one way, you'll never get to where it is you want to be. But I hope that by now we're reaching the point where we realize that there is no one singular path to reaching any destination. Okay? There is not one singular path to any destination. And this is where we start to understand about the facets of personality. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean the facets of people, the many different facets that we all hold. Okay, and a lot of people would say, oh, well, my characteristics are wrong, or the things that about me are wrong, or the things about me that are bad, or the things that about me that... And they begin to pick apart and pull apart themselves in order to become something. Okay, let me stop there and elaborate deeper. Of course, there are evolutionary processes within the human psyche, the human person. Okay, I will look at myself and I will ask myself about certain characteristics or things about me that I may want to change, if it means that I will better the lives of someone else, because it will then make my life easier. Okay? So I will change things about me if it means that I'm able to communicate or live with or deal with an individual in a better way, because it then reflects and mirrors itself back to me anyway. So this is a confirmation of the fact, if you help others, you're helping yourself. Okay? So, but there is a limit to this. Okay? We're a facet of a greater whole. So therefore, some characteristics and aspects of you will be necessary. And you will have some characteristics about yourself that I don't have, that if you didn't have them, we'd miss out. Okay? How can I try and explain this a little better? We have waves of life, right? We go up in life, we go down in life. We have good times, we have bad times. If you didn't have the bad times, you would have nothing to compare to the good times, right? So the good times would keep going up and up and up and up, and eventually you'd actually lose gratitude. You'd lose that understanding of gratitude. Why? Because you'd have no idea what the opposite side is. And this is why a lot of people aren't grateful. Not because they're bad people, just because they've had nothing to compare it against. If you've only ever been given everything in your life, which is okay, then some people might struggle with the concept or the idea of gratitude because they've nothing to compare it to. They've never been to the darkest, deepest places of this planet, right? And what this planet can offer as experiences. But don't knock those people. Don't attack those people. You know, it's about understanding. If we don't, to link it in with the facets of personality, if we don't have something to compare to, if we don't have something to experience, then we're missing out on evolution. I was having a conversation with an individual the other day, and I was like, there will be parts of me that some people may wish to adopt. Perhaps my humbleness, that I may humbly say, I believe I have, right? Or my strength, my power, my ability to communicate, my ability to articulate, right? Which is a means of expressing, of sharing in a way that people can understand and they can follow. People might wish to adopt that within themselves. But also, I can be very regimented, right? So if I can improve something, I will improve it. But maybe in that improving everything, I miss out on some of the flowing creativity that life can have, right? It is a consistent understanding that it is an understanding that consciousness isn't still, okay? Consciousness does not stay still. It learns, it evolves, it grows, it moves, it changes. So when people say you've changed, what they're failing to understand is that you're saying someone else has changed, but you change on a daily basis. You just don't realize it. Even if you think you're doing the same things over and over and over again, you're recording and receiving more information every second of every moment of every day. You are evolving. And it's just this video is really to highlight the fact that we are necessary. There is no rule book, there is no rule system. Okay, like there are a lot of people who are saying, you know, if you do this or if you don't do this, you're never going to get to where you want to be, but that's not the case. The actual truth of the matter is that there are many roads to a single destination. You know, there are many paths in front of us, and it's time for a new one. Because we've done the fear, we've done the obeying. Now it's time for freedom, for happiness, for love, for contentment, for unity. Right? If you're going to take anything from this video today, take the word unity. It is about unity, because unifying does not mean that you become... Yes, it does. Okay. Unity in this vibration, in this dimension, in the earthly planes that we are right now, it doesn't mean that you cease to have your personality. What it means is that you are beginning to explore what it means to reach the higher dimensions, where you do unify your consciousness, so to speak, with the beings that are around you. Therefore, you cease to have an identity, but then have the ability to create identities. Okay? Let me say that again. You cease to have an identity, but what you actually begin to do is you begin to have the power, the architect level consciousness, the power to create identities. You could create me, you could create you could create people in your life. Therefore, you're able to experience yourself through different facets of yourself, which comes full circle. If you are praying to God, fantastic. You must also realize that you are on the path to reaching that God level consciousness. Okay? In a humble way. You already are that. It isn't separate from you. It is you that is experiencing you, yourself, your identity, your personality right now, but in many different versions of itself. And yes, the hardest, because people say, if there is a God, why is there suffering in Africa? There is suffering in Africa because you, that God, wished to experience that suffering. Why? Perhaps so that there is a comparison, so that parts of you can know what it means to be loving and compassionate and in a place of peace and safety, and the other parts of you can live in a piece of turmoil, of pain, of suffering, right? Again, yes, I agree with you. The next question is, well, why on earth would I want that? Well, it comes down to the level of consciousness that I'm beginning to adopt, and I have been over the past few months, is that everything matters and nothing matters at the same time. Okay? Because it is not about the size of something, right? The almighty, huge God. It's not about the size of something, because the tiniest little atoms and molecules and whatever you want to call them, cells, are important. Because if you didn't have one of those cells, or 700 million of those cells, you wouldn't exist. But at the same time, if one of them dies, it doesn't matter. But you need that one, but you don't need that one, right? If it dies, it regenerates. If it doesn't regenerate, then you get the point. Okay? If one ant dies, it's okay. But if you don't have many ants, you don't have a colony. Right? If one bird dies, it's okay. But if you don't have two birds, they can't continue the line. If a human being passes away, it's okay. Cycle of life. If that offends anybody, it's the cycle of life. But if we don't have many human beings, we may not experience ourselves. Hence, the importance of understanding that everything is important and nothing is important. This is the key understanding of true level, of true architect level consciousness, God level consciousness. I'm not saying I'm God, who gives a fuck? Who cares about it? What I am saying is that you are on the path to becoming that, whether you believe it or not. If you don't do it in this lifetime, or the next lifetime, or the next dimension, or the next density, then you will do it in the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. You will reach there. It is completely absolute. That is one thing that we can't, it is literally the law of one. It is unity. You will eventually get there, because it already is you. You're not separate from it. Okay? If you are praying to a God, you are inherently praying to yourself. And therefore, it is not to walk around with an arrogant air of, oh my goodness, I'm God and I'm all powerful. No. It is an understanding that, do you know what? I'm working in conjunction with that level of power, because I don't have the grips on that right now. I can't just materialize myself in and out of a reality, because I'm bound by this one whilst I'm here. But what it does mean is that eventually I'll reach there. So I'm not going to drop my own power, my own sense of what I know within me, and give it to something else, because I know it's just me anyway. You know? I hope that makes sense. I hope that and if it doesn't, you know, there'll be other videos that will cover this idea and this topic. But this is why I say that, coming full circle back to, we're tired of these systems, it is time for something new, and we're going to create that. All right? These beings that have controlled us and taken from us for so long, their time has come, and they are finished, and they will be finished. And there will be people like me who will not stop fighting, who will not stop creating, who will not stop living by their truth and having integrity until the very end. And they can do whatever it is that they wish to do, then we won't stop. I won't stop. And this is where we understand what true unity is. Because if some of us refuse not to lay our arms down and stand by and allow people to control us in a way that they deem right, then we finally, truly reach complete and utter freedom. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you like the new setting. Like I say, I'll have some new hanging plants, so maybe I'll be able to, like, you know, merge it around and make it look a little more pretty for you guys. But I appreciate you all. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one.